In this video, we're going to talk about the introduction to our class tools, the technology that we're going to use to help us learn in this course. And so in this video, we're going to focus on R and RStudio, specifically downloading R and RStudio. I'll have a separate video to try to keep these short. I'll have a separate video that talks specifically about RStudio and the options that RStudio has. And then also in another separate video, we're going to talk about R Markdown and Quarto. They are the document types that we're actually going to use in this course, and they are special, and so it'll take some time to talk about them, but excuse me, they are what we're going to use, and then there will be a recap in that video about all of the things that we learned. So first, I want to describe what R and RStudio are very, very briefly, and then we're going to focus on how to download them. So R is the programming language that we're going to use in this course. There are many programming languages out there, and many of them, some of them, have the ability to do data analysis, but I chose to use R for this course. This is in part because I am a trained statistician. R, as you will hear in other videos, was built by statisticians and for statisticians, so it is really good at data analysis and graphing and data manipulation, which is mainly what we're going to do for this course. Okay? There are others, and really, hopefully, what I'm going to teach in this course is not just R and RStudio, but data science skills that translate from language to language. So if you don't use R ever again and you use Python or Julia or any other languages that do data science, at least you'll have skills in R, but skills that you'll be able to take forward. Okay, sorry. So R is the language used in this course. You can think of R in a vehicle terminology as the engine. It is what drives all of the things that we're doing, but you aren't going to use R natively. There is an application on your computer if and when you download R, but it's kind of clunky. Almost no one uses it. Most people who use R are going to use RStudio, and so you'll see RStudio in a second. After I download it, or after I show you how to download it, or the options that I'm going to give you, anyway, is an integrated development environment for R. And so it's the application that you're going to open up. It's the one that you're going to use to actually interact with R. And so in a vehicle terminology, it is the dashboard. And so you interact with the dashboard interacts or is the middle person for your engine, okay, for R. Okay, so that's R and RStudio. So a little background, there are many different ways to run R. So you can interactively through the R GUI or GUI. It does have one, but as again I said, it's clunky. You can, if you know command line, you can run R through the command line, but again, it's probably not the best way to do it. You can, and you can do many, many others. Okay, but so here's a short background. But anyway, before we get to the demo, sorry, I do have a slide here. RStudio is not the only editor in what you're going to write your code in. There are many of them. I think it is by far the best. It has lots of features that make it convenient to program in R. And I could do multiple videos on all of the stuff that RStudio can do. I will make one video, but I could go through many. Okay, and then so the things that I'm going to mention, not in this video, but in the next video, are these panes, projects, snippets, and other fancy features. Okay, so that's where I'm going to stop, at least the slides here. And I want to show you, the main part of this video is how to download R and RStudio. Now, in my syllabus and in my introduction video, I talked about how to, I'm giving you two options, or a couple different options on how you can use R in RStudio. So the first option is downloading it onto your computer. Okay, and so if you want to do that, I'll go through and I'll show you the websites that you'll want to use. So you can just start by saying download R. Okay, you want to download R first, then RStudio. Okay, R first, then RStudio. And so when I search in my browser, download R, it first gives me download R 4.3.1 for Windows. Now I'm on a Mac, and so this isn't really helpful for me, but the website is where you want to go. So the R Project for Statistical Computing. Okay, and so I'll click on this, even though it's going to take, for me, the wrong one, but if you do have a Windows machine, it will be the right one. And I guess actually it won't be very helpful. So I'll go to the main site. Okay, so if you do go to the main site here, it gives you some news, other social media, how to get started. Okay, so what you'll want to do is over here in download, you're going to see capital CRAN, or CRAN. Okay, CRAN stands for the Comprehensive R Archive Network. It's where a lot of R stuff is. But anyway, we'll get to that. Just click download CRAN. Okay, it has a bunch of mirrors, or rather places around the globe that hold the R download, the R executables, the files that go on your computer that run the stuff. Okay, and so you can choose any one that you want. You probably want to come down here and choose anywhere from the United States. There are actually two places in Pittsburgh where these are at. Theoretically, the closer that you choose, the faster it'll download, but it's very fast, and so I doubt that you'll have any trouble wherever you click. But if we go here to say Carnegie Mellon, okay, it has the options for Linux, Mac OS, or Windows. If I click on the Windows, it brings me here. Okay, and so it has a number of different options you'd want to choose since you're downloading it for the first time. Base. Okay, but there are some instructions on what you'll need to do. Make sure to read them. For Mac, here it looks a little bit different. Okay. If you have, so for Mac, if you have a newer Mac that is an M1 or M2 chip, you're going to choose this one. If you have an Intel Mac, choose this one. Okay. If you're on a Mac machine and you aren't sure which one that you have, you can go up here to the Apple and look at about this Mac, and it will tell you what you have. Okay, and then if you are running Linux, you probably know what to do. So I won't go through that. But that's R. Okay, should be very simple. It has a installer that once you click on it, it will take you through step by step, and you just had to click OK, and it should download without much of an issue. Okay. The other thing, so that was R, now RStudio. So download RStudio. Okay. Now this is still if you want to put these applications on your personal machine. There is another way that I will show you in just a second that doesn't put these on your personal machine. And the second way is actually probably the way I would suggest that you at least start this class doing. So I should have led with it, but I didn't. My apologies. So if you do want to download it to your machine, okay, so download RStudio is what I searched for, and I get this. The first hit, it's from a website, it's from a company and website called Posit. Okay, Posit is the company that makes RStudio. Posit, I guess fun fact, Posit used to be called RStudio, so it used to be a company called RStudio that made a product called RStudio. Now it has a different name, company has a different name, but it still has this. So if you click on RStudio Desktop, okay, they have a newer site, we'll say, or a more interactive site than R does. But if you come down here, they'll actually tell you how to install R if you want to click that, okay, and then install RStudio. Sorry, and it already tells me it detected that I have a Mac, and so it's going to tell me to download for Mac OS 11 Plus. Okay, it'll probably detect and tell you where to download that. And so if I click that, it's going to start to download. Okay, and so you can go forward. It, like R, is a simple download. Okay, if I were to show you, this of course is on a Mac. A PC would be different, but to install RStudio, I would just take this and put it in applications. Now I already have, and so I shouldn't do it again, and so I won't. But there is RStudio. So there's R and RStudio. RStudio should automatically detect R when it opens up, but we haven't gotten there yet. The second option is also from the Posit world, and it is called Posit Cloud, or what used to be called RStudio Cloud. Okay, so Posit Cloud is basically a web-based version of RStudio. Okay, and so it is nice for a number of reasons. The best one for you is that it's already set up and it's going to work as you want it to. And so, as you probably have found out before, downloading software can sometimes be a pain. And so if you want to skip that pain, at least for now, there are some disadvantages to using Posit Cloud, but at the beginning, there are a lot of advantages. Okay? So if you want to, you can sign up for a free account. Okay? There is Cloud Free here. Okay? And you can see all the things. So one of the downsides is you have 25 hours of compute time per month, and you may run into that as we move forward with the class. But at least for the start, you can get this and then try to download R and RStudio in your time. So once you sign up, okay, so you can sign up, and once you have, I'll log in with mine. Oh. Sorry, got to remember my passwords. And I guess I shouldn't show you this. Sorry, I will. Okay, sorry about that. There's my password. And so when you open up Posit Cloud, this is what you'll find. Okay, well, rather, yours will be blank. Over here are, well, lots of spaces that I have. I guess a fun fact is if you move on to Data Science 2 in the fall, we will be using a Posit Cloud space where you have unlimited number of hours and work time and so on and so forth. Because this class is in the summer, the money that Shippensburg uses to get this from a grant isn't valid at the moment. And so we have to rough it a bit. And I do apologize for that. And so that's why we're going through all this. But you should have a workspace. Okay? It should be blank. And you should be able to come up here, click New Project, and then New RStudio Project, and that will open up RStudio. And so that's where I'm going to, okay, there it is. It does take a little while. That's the other downside. But here is this thing called RStudio. Okay, and so this is where I'm going to stop. And in my next video, we'll start back up from right about here. And we're going to talk about RStudio and all that it has to offer.